Football is full of stories of greatness and decline, of teams that touch glory only to see their star fade. Few examples are striking as Deportivo de La Coruña, from fighting for the Champions League to falling into the depths of Spanish football. Their first major breakthrough came in 1995 when they won the Copa del Rey, their first major title. But the real revolution began between 1999 and 2000, when Depor against all odds were crowned La Liga champions. Players like Molina, Donato, Mauro Silva, Valerón, Fran, Diego Tristan and Roy Mackay became heroes, and the team started making history in Europe as well. Winning La Liga earned them a direct ticket to the Champions League, and their first appearance they wasted no time proving their worth. At Camp Nou, they stunned Barcelona with a thrilling 3-2 victory. It was no fluke, Depor had arrived to compete with their very best. In the group stage they battled to draws at the stadiums of Juventus, Panathinaikos and Hamburg. But when it mattered most, they stepped up. In Paris, they beat PSG 3-1, and in Riazor, they delivered one of the greatest comebacks in Champions League history. Trailing 0-3 in the second half, all seemed lost. But then, Depor produced pure magic, storming back to win 4-3, sending the Galician crowd into a frenzy. To secure their place in the quarterfinals, they confirmed their qualification at San Siro, placing themselves among Europe's elite 8. But the dream hit a wall in the quarterfinals. At Ellen Road, Leeds United overpowered with a commanding 3-0 win, leaving Depor with a mountain to climb. Yet, in Riazor, they nearly pulled off another miracle. Goals from Yamilna and Diego Tristan shook the English side, but it wasn't enough. Deportivo fell just short of the semi-finals. If anyone thought Deportivo would fade away, they were wrong. The following season they cemented their status as legends with El Centenariazo. In the Copa del Rey, with the Santiago Bernabéu packed and Real Madrid celebrating their 100th anniversary, Depor silenced the party with a shocking 2-1 victory, claiming their second Copa del Rey title. But their magic wasn't limited to Spain. In the Champions League, Depor continued to show they belonged among Europe's elite. At Old Trafford, they stunned Manchester United with a 3-2 win. At Highbury, Arsenal's fortress, they secured a dominant 2-0 win. However, in their quarterfinals, they once again faced Manchester United. This time, the English Giants had the upper hand, eliminating Depor with a 5-2 aggregate score, halting their progress in their second Champions League campaign. But Depor wasn't done yet. They continued to conquer Europe's toughest grounds. In Munich, they defeated the mighty Bayern 3-2, and in San Siro, a 2-1 victory ensured their place in the second group stage, proving they were still a force to be reckoned with. Despite their impressive group stage performances, Depor once again fell short in the quarterfinals, this time against a relentless Leeds United side that was becoming one of Europe's biggest surprises. This marks only the first part of Depor's incredible journey. If you thought it was impressive, what came next was simply unforgettable. After years of proving themselves among Europe's elite, Deportivo La Coruña embarked on what would become their most legendary Champions League season. The journey, however, didn't start smoothly. In the group stage, Depor suffered a humiliating 8-3 defeat against AS Monaco, one of the worst losses in the tournament's history. But when the knockout rounds arrived, they transformed into a different beast. In the round of 16, they faced Juventus, one of the continent's most feared teams. But Depor thrived under pressure. Goals from Walter Pandiani and Albert Luque secured a stunning victory, eliminating the Italian giants and sending shockwaves through Europe. Next, they faced the reigning European champions, AC Milan, a team filled with superstars and managed by Carlo Ancelotti. Their first leg at San Siro started promisingly, with Pandiani putting Depor ahead. But then, disaster struck. Milan responded with 4 goals in just 8 minutes, crushing the Galicians 4-1. Most teams would have given up, but Depor, they had other plans. Riazor became the stage for one of the greatest comebacks in football history. Pandiani opened the scoring within 5 minutes. Then, Valerón header made it 2-0. Depor was now just 1 goal away from the impossible. And Luca delivered it, scoring the third before halftime. The stadium was in a frenzy, and then comeback was on. In the second half, club legend Fran sealed the miracle with a 4th goal. Depor held firm against Milan's desperate attacks, securing a 4-0 victory, one of the most iconic turnarounds in Champions League history. Deportivo La Coruña had reached the semi-finals of Europe's greatest competition. In the semifinals they met Jose Mourinho's Porto. The first leg in Portugal ended in a tense 0-0 draw, but the match was marred by controversy. Depor's key defender Jorge Andrade was sent off in a highly debatable decision after playfully kicking his friend Deco, meaning he would miss the decisive return leg at Riazor. In the second leg, a clumsy fall by Cesar and Deco gifted Porto a penalty, which dearly converted. That single goal was enough to send Porto to the final, ending Depor's dream just one step away from the biggest match in club football. Porto would go on to win the Champions League, leaving Deport to wonder what could have been. After years of competing at the highest levels, Deport's decline began. The 2004-2005 season was a disaster. They failed to win a single game in the Champions League and were eliminated in the group stage. It was a sign of things to come. Financial problems started to take the toll. Star players left, and the team's competitiveness declined. In 2011, Deportivo was relegated to the Segunda División. Though they bounced back to La Liga, they became a yo-yo club, constantly moving between divisions. And then, in 2018, the unthinkable happened. Deport was relegated again, this time for what seemed to be the final time. They failed to regain promotion, and in 2020 they hit rock bottom, falling to the third tier of Spanish football, Segunda B, for the first time in 40 years. From La Liga champions and Champions League semi-finalists to the depths of Spanish football, Deportivo La Coruña's story is one of glory and heartbreak. But for those who witnessed the magic of the Super Depor and Euro Depor era, one thing is certain: this team will never be forgotten.